Okay, let's talk about some football. You ready for this, bro?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about the New York Jets taking on the Buffalo Bills. A massive, massive game in the AFC East. The last time these teams played, the New York Jets somehow won, regardless, because of obviously some of the interceptions that Josh Allen threw. So, the big news coming out of Buffalo this week is that Von Miller is out for the year. He had an injury that came up against, I believe, what game was that now? Was it the Jets
It
game?
was Detroit. It was 2 weeks
Detroit.
ago.
2 weeks ago, he got injured. They thought he would be able to come back in the next, I would say, 6 weeks. They put him on IR, but when they went in for surgery, looks like his ACL was also damaged as well. So they had to do that repair. So he's gone for the year, and that's going to be obviously a bummer for the Buffalo Bills' run to the Super Bowl. So the Jets are coming off of a loss to the Vikings, but they had a good showing. Looks like, for the most part, they kept it close. Mike White had some turnovers, and that kind of was the main reason they lost. But if you really look at that game, Puma, against the Vikings, I was looking at the stats and looking at just the flow of the game when I was watching it. The Jets semi-dominated the Vikings. It was like really weird. And one of the main reasons why the Vikings ended up winning was because obviously two turnovers by the Jets, but also the 2 for 6 in the red zone. The Jets got down in the red zone, they moved the ball up and down the field, but they couldn't cash in, so they were 2 for 6, and that's one of the main reasons they lost. And the Vikings, the other end, I believe, were 3 for 3 in the red zone. So when you have, you lose the turnover battle and you can cash in the red zone, you're probably gonna end up winning. But a lot of positive signs for that Jets team. Obviously coming out of the Vikings loss. However, obviously you're going up to Buffalo, Orchard Park, hard place to play. The Buffalo Bills are going to start to make that push for the Super Bowl. They have the number one seed right now because Kansas City lost to the Bengals. I think it's going to be a hard ask for the New York Jets to go up there and pull this win out of their backside. So I got the Buffalo Bills winning this game.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And I was talking with a couple of people off, obviously off air about the Von Miller situation, and they were saying, "Oh, like Von's out, like this defense is done." I was like, "No, this defense is not done." I mean, if it's really going to come down to Rousseau staying healthy because he's missed a couple of games with injury or illness. Ed Oliver is going to have to step up. Tremaine Edmonds is going to have to stay healthy as well too, because this year he's been in and out of the lineup too. Matt Milano is going to have a bigger role, as if he doesn't have a big enough role in this offense anyways. There's an argument to be made that he could potentially be a dark horse candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. But this defense is going to step up. It's going to have to step up. The loss of Von Miller, I think also, with Tre'Davious White coming back, and he was also playing more snaps last week against New England Patriots, you're going to see that snap count increase. I wouldn't be surprised if you see him play, 100% of the snaps this week against the New York Jets. The last time these guys met, this was also the game where, Josh Allen hurt his elbow. An argument could be made that not only does Buffalo play down the competition, I think they were just playing with their food at that point. Buffalo knows what's on the line now. I think they're going to be, straight laced and down to business. The point spread is at 9.5 with Buffalo laying the points.
Take the points.
I think that I was going to say, I'm betting wise, I'm going to wait and see if the Jets get up to 10 because the Bills have not really been blowing anyone out recently. And it comes down to the injury factor. I understand that. But I mean, if I had to bet this game now, I'm going to bet the Jets getting the points. I'm going to wait until it gets up to 10 because I definitely think they can keep it within a 10-point game. But I got Buffalo winning this game. It's also nice to see James Cook have a bigger role in this offense because now we're starting to see why they took this kid, in the second round last year in the draft. So I like Buffalo here to get the win, but I like the Jets to keep it close. I think the Jets cover the game, especially with Mike White, because if this was Zach Wilson, yeah, I would have laid the 9.5 points if I had to bet this game. But I said it last week, and I'm going to keep saying it. Mike White is kind of the AFC version of a Taylor Heineke, right? Where like everyone else is like elevating their play because of his moxie. And Jake, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm off base. I feel like a lot of the red zone struggles with the Jets, came down to the interceptions. I just feel like Mike LaFleur kind of got a little too cute in the red zone. Like, I think there were a couple of times where, I mean, they were inside the 5. They might have been even on the 2. And, Zonovan Knight didn't even get a sniff of the goal line. They kept trying to throw the ball in there. And it's just like, let's not get cute here. Like, just punch it in, whether it's Mike White falling forward, Zonovan Knight falling forward. a lineman falling forward for all I care. Like, let's not get too cute. Am I wrong in that assessment?
No,
Or
I think there's something there because let's be real. Mike White is obviously getting his second start this season, and it comes down to when I see an offensive coordinator go up and down the field and then they turtle up and change philosophies in the red zone, it tells me they don't trust their young quarterback just yet. And I get it. You don't have enough rapport with Mike White to feel free with, hey, I know exactly what this guy wants in the red zone. I know this is the place going to work. So you start to protect your quarterback. And usually that protection leads to some dumbass plays, right? You start doing those reverses. Those reverses mean the ball goes back 5 yards before it even travels past the line of scrimmage. And that's what I saw coming out of those red zone opportunities. But other than that, like, they looked good. Like, for the most part, like, that offense it was humming for a while there. Garrett Wilson got involved. Your boy Moore, he finally showed up again. I mean, he was basically dead and buried for the longest time on the roster. So, I mean, I get it. There's going to be some growing pains here, and it's the worst time to go through growing pains when you're playing the Buffalo Bills with 5 weeks left to a playoff run. But the problem is you were so late making that move from Zach Wilson to Mike White that you're going to have to go through some of these growing pains. And one more thing, I think if somehow Mike White takes off, and obviously we know the moniker for the Jets is Take Flight, I move that Mike Flight be the official nickname for Mike White.
Yes.
Thoughts on that?
I co-signed that.
Quick Buffalo Bills point. I mean, we've been hammering this all year long, and this is when all the things we've been saying need to actually come to fruition because you got 5 weeks left, all right? Buffalo, you got the number 1 seed right now. You can't trip up now. The Jets are coming in this week. The Dolphins are coming in the week after that. The Bears, yeah, it could be an easy win, but then you got the Bengals again and the Patriots. So you got 3 out of 5 games are going to be fairly tough to win. You can't trip up now because the people that you're going up against, the Chiefs, those guys have an easy cake schedule down the stretch. They've got the Broncos, the Texans, the Seahawks, Broncos, and Raiders. So, I mean, those are some fairly easy wins there, in my opinion, for the Chiefs. So you've got to come through and get that number 1 seed to force Kansas City to come up to Buffalo.